Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 10 in this series looking at Pytest. And what I want to do today is look at how we can use reusable fixtures. So to do so, I'm going to be using this code here. So we just move this down a touch. We have us reading in a data frame, or reading in a CSV and making a data frame, I should say. And we have two really trivial, simple functions. We have one which accepts the data, shows the top row, one which accepts the data frame, shows the bottom row. So really simple, but the whole point of this is to show basically how we can use a reusable fixture just so that our tests aren't going to be opening a data frame every single time we want to do something like this or something like this. So if you imagine this in a wider context, you may be opening a data frame, then have a load of functions or methods which go through the data frame and parse it. You really don't want to be opening your CSV file a million times in your tests, making the data frame and then passing it into the function. It's a lot of I/O trouble going on. Whereas with a fixture, we can open it once and just say, here it is, it's open. Now let's go ahead and use it in our tests. So the first thing we're going to do, just quickly cover a few of these things here. Now, there's a few different parameters we can pass in when making a fixture. The first one being scope. And this is basically how the fixture kind of stays alive during you running your tests. So by default, it's something called function, which if you don't pass anything in, this will be what it's set to. When it's set to this, it will basically make a new fixture per test. Okay, so that might be something you want to do. We can also do module and session as well. So when it's set to module, it will basically keep the fixture alive throughout the remainder of a whole module, so this entire file, or it can be over session, and this will keep it alive once per test session. We can also do an optional name as well. So if you want to call your fixture one thing, but then refer to it a different way, we can pass that in. So of course, we'll take a look at this. And the benefit of these fixtures is that they can also go inside your conftest.py. So let's kick things off by just importing main. So I'll do from main. We're going to go ahead and import our two functions. Let's do show top row, and then we'll do show bottom row here. So we'll just do a single test for this one, and then we'll convert it into using a fixture afterwards just to show the difference. So if we do test, and then we'll do test show top row like this. Okay, looks good. Now if I just quickly run in here, let's see, I'm going to quickly pinch this just for quickness, and we need to import pandas as, I'll do it as PD for this example. Okay, there we go. So inside my test, we're reading the CSV. Now let's go ahead and do show top row. So we'll do output is equal to show top row, and then we're passing in our df here. Then to compare these, what you might think we could do is something like assert that the output, and then do, sorry, where is it? There we go, output is equal to, and then do df.iloc of 0. But when we're comparing pandas objects, it's not actually going to like that. So what we actually need to do is do output dot, and it's going to be equals, and then we'll do df.iloc of 0 here. Now let's run our test again. Okay, looks good, that's all passed. Now what we can do, let's come ahead down here and then do test show, and we'll convert this one to bottom row like this here. And then all we've got to do is just switch this around. So we'll change this to show bottom row. And actually, just to show it's working, let's just do the assertion incorrectly. So it should see this one pass, this one fail. Let's run that. There we go, yeah. So see how it's telling us that. This one here, output.equals df.iloc. That's going to be this guy. Yeah, it's telling us that it's incorrect. So let's compare it to the correct row. I guess that's, I don't know, I'm not sure that's just a me thing or not, but I always like to check that the tests fail and then that they pass. I don't know why. I guess it's just a bit of a reassurance. So we know we have two passing tests, but the problem is that in this situation, I mean, I've only done pretty simple tests, but imagine that this is testing like five or six different functions, which all require a data frame. What it would be then much more clean to do, in my opinion, is only give these functions the job of accepting a data frame and checking it. These functions shouldn't really be concerning themselves with the actual logic of opening that CSV in the first place. So this is where a fixture comes in. So let's go ahead and convert our top one first. So if we do something like at Pytest, at fixture, like this here, and then let's do def let's just do data frame like this. And then that should be good to go. And then what I'm going to do is just take this and then just do return pd.readcsv. So now if we remove this and then see how this is saying df, it's not recognized anymore. If I do data frame, put this in here, here, and here, let's try and run our test again. Now let's convert our bottom one here. So if I just remove this, basically it's a case of just doing data frame in here, removing us actually opening this, then do data frame, then do data frame again. These two tests are no longer concerning themselves with the act of opening this CSV and making the data frame. If you're familiar with the SRP, or the single responsibility principle, we're basically kind of adhering to this here. These are just doing the test and that's it. You know, you could even make this super concise if you want to. We could remove the variable. I could do it here as well. So let's take all of this, replace this, and there we go. In my view, that's a whole lot cleaner. We're doing the opening of the CSV here, running the tests down here, and we are good to go. So now that works, let's go ahead and look at the additional parameters. So I want to do scope and then name. So if we do up here, now you have to do this up here like this. You can't do it inside this bit, but if we do scope is equal to, let's see, there we go. It's given us some nice things to do here. Let's go ahead and do module. And there we are, that's fine. So this is now being kept alive and used for the entire module, which is good. We can also pass in a name as well. So name is equal to, and to be honest, I always find this a little bit interesting because you'd only normally use this if you have to be giving this a different name. So if you're quite pedantic and want to do something like data frame fixture or something like this, this would be the sort of situation where you'd want to do it. So you can see this is a data frame fixture as hinted at by the name of the function. But if you do want to refer to it still as data frame, we can just use this name is equal data frame bit here. And it just means that these bits aren't really affected. So if I just show you this for a sec, if we call it data frames, our tests now complain because, yeah, fixture data frame not found. The available ones are, and we can see, yeah, data frames. So us doing this basically puts it into the scope of all the other fixtures, whereas if we change it back, there we are, and we are good to go. So the only thing I'd recommend if you're doing this is, generally speaking, I think this is my rule, if I just have a single fixture, I don't really mind kind of packaging it at the top of my tests. If you have multiple fixtures, that's when it's good to put them inside the conf test. But it just depends on how particular you are with keeping it neat and tidy. So just to recap, the whole point of this fixture is to give us a reusable bit of logic or code which we can pass to all of our tests. So the benefit of that is that, one, our tests are much simpler, much cleaner, much shorter. It also avoids you making any mistakes as well. So if we can do this correct once, so in this case, we're literally just returning a data frame from a CSV. We know this works. That means that we're passing something consistent and reliable as the basis for all of our future tests. Cheers for watching, guys, and hope you all have a great weekend.